Hello, everybody. Welcome back to In Our Humble Opinion. I'm Chachi. That's Tom. It's been a little bit of
Yeah.
a hiatus, but we were trying to it's the off season. We're trying to let stuff happen, and quite a few things have happened. Okay, so, people have left teams. Tom has been messing with his little EPA thing. It's really cool. Like you can do like
Oh
certain
yeah.
positions. It's really wild. But we're just going to talk about a little bit about free agency, what we think are the next steps for teams, because certain players have been released or are going to be released. I think I'll start. I saw Slay got released. I think like me and him always talk about Darius Slay. He's pretty good, not really great, but I think for certain teams he would help. I don't know, like they were talking about the Ravens, but I'm like I don't think they need like him. He's more. I don't know about that. I feel like they want Wiggins to play
He's a,
more.
he's a cap casualty man.
Yeah.
Like he's older. He's okay. He knows how to play his own defense. So I mean, look, like you know, you've seen a lot of weird things, already, and it's always interesting how I love how they initially when the Super Bowl's over, everybody's looking at um they're looking at these off-season lists, and it's like, dude, wait till March when all of a sudden they got to start cutting
Oh
people
yeah.
because, hey, big bonuses are due. Players want to be traded. Those things finally come out. I mean, look at what happened last night. Gino goes to the Raiders. I actually think that's not the worst thing in the world. What I'm really curious is, dude, is Seattle just tanking? like, they got nothing.
Yeah, dude, like I don't get their rebuild. I get. By the way, Tom Brady, great job with the Raiders. Buddy, look at it already. Anyway, uh,
But
dude,
yeah,
Tom, I did
Gino.
not see that. I'm
We'll
just
see when they
learning.
go from the fourth pick in the draft to they go to the 10th.
Yeah, yeah.
Just an improvement.
No. I'm going to make it clear. I don't think Gino's like the greatest quarter, but I also think they'll probably get a young quarterback too. I think Gino is just like a bridge, probably. That's what I'm guessing. But yeah, I mean that's
They're gonna sign Sam Darnold.
what I'm trying to figure out is you got a new young coach like that, and McDonald did a really good job this year, but you're just like getting rid of people. I don't understand it what they're doing. I guess they just want to get out of like the like purgatory they're in because Gino's never gonna win you a Super Bowl or anything. He might just
I
make
think
the
he's just expensive.
yeah.
Like, remember, they signed him to that really big contract. He's expensive, so it's like, here, let someone else deal with it.
And I'm not. I don't want
And
to take. I'm not taking a
I mean,
shot at Gino because his
Seattle's
improvement.
Seattle spent a
Is
lot of money on old aging players.
yeah.
Like even DK Metcalf, that means he's not young.
No.
Like
Oh
he's
yeah. I
been in the
saw.
league a while now.
I've seen that too. I'm like. I'm not a. A lot of people. I think he's very overrated. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's great.
He's big, physical, and fast.
Yeah.
He's a poor man's AJ Brown.
Yeah.
That's why he was drafted. But I think a team like Green Bay, if it seems like New England's the front runner, is what the rumors I'm reading. But I think when you think of Green Bay, hey, not having Christian Watson is going to be a problem, right? And clearly their offense was better with him versus without him. Um, you need that threat that can stretch the field.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that this makes a lot of sense. The thing is, I'm not giving a first round pick for this third. I don't think I would give him. I'd give you a second, and you can trade some picks. I mean, honestly, if you want Jair Alexander, great. I don't care. They got bumps.
Yeah. I don't think. I
But
think the Ravens. It wouldn't be bad.
yeah,
It wouldn't be
Seattle's
bad.
fascinating, man. They're like, here, goodbye, Lockett. We're just gonna take Smith and Jigma,
That's
and
that's
then
the
we're
that's
gonna
the.
have Sam Howell throwing picks.
I think that's the guy I would get. I would think Lockett would be really good for the Ravens. Just to be like
Yeah,
to help him out. I think he would be a
I
great
think
like
Lockett
first.
would be good for any team in a role of like, dude, we're gonna use you as like a third down guy.
Yeah. Oh my
Just
god.
get open.
Not a good team leader guy. Like he would help a room. He's a great player, man. I love him.
I watched him. I've watched him live a couple times, dude. He can catch anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's unbelievable. Like just some of the catches he can make, you're just like, wow.
Good feet too, man. Knows how to get him in bounds. He knows what he's doing. I do like the
Uh,
trade. I do like the Commanders trade. The money's a lot, but I think that's what Debo needs to be successful. Like now he's not the guy that's going to get a ton of passes, but now you can use him more like end arounds and run plays and stuff. I
I
think
don't
with
know, man. I don't know. don't know how I feel about Devo anymore. I think it makes sense. I mean, anywhere makes sense for him, I guess.
I think with Kingsbury though, that's a good fit. Not being the number one too. Like you don't need him to catch 15 balls or whatever. Now you just.
I was joking with my dad. I said, he said it was a 5th-round pick. I was like, that's too much because the amount that guy gets hurt. Dude, he barely gets touched.
He does get hurt a lot.
For games.
He does get hurt a lot. He's the toughest, softest dude ever.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, I'm not really a big. He's a weapon, but beyond that, I'm not really not a massive fan.
Yeah, I have
just because his availability is poor.
And you got Bosa got released, and I think Mac did too, right?
Bosa's interesting. That's a guy I'd be curious. Now here's a guy.
Yeah, they're good.
No, I'm curious. So they said Green Bay is very interested. There's a guy I call him Obi-Wan or whatever from Indy.
Uh-huh.
When you look at his production numbers, he's okay, but he's young and there's a lot of upside to him. He's got a lot of length. They want him at D end, and supposedly gonna give him 18-20 million a year on a 3-year deal, and I'm just like, wait, what? So you're not gonna go get a Joey Bosa who's proven, and we're gonna go get a 26-year-old and we're say, hey, we need to start competing for championships now. Let's go get a 26-year-old that's never had the production.
I do like Jonathan Allen's out there. I do like him, but that's an interior guy.
I do too. Well, you know what though? In the Super Bowl, I'll tell you, dude. Yeah. People cannot in this draft.
No, you're right.
I project Green Bay. I think they're either going offensive tackle or they're going interior defensive line with that first pick.
Dude, I think good.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have dudes in the middle. You always have. This game is still. Yep. I don't care all the nonsense and the crazy motions and all this stuff. You know it as well as I do, Chach. Man, this game comes down to the front lines, and is yours better than the others?
No, and you know what? We're talking about the draft. This draft, I think that little injury kind of scares me for the guy from what is it? Penn State, Carter.
Oh, Abdul Carter.
I like him, but
what's wrong with him again?
I forget something with his knee, I believe. But they said he's okay. He's just not gonna. He didn't run at the combine. He's gonna do it at the pro day. My thing is, I think Travis Hunter is the best player. I really do, especially because now he's basically I'm gonna be a corner, and then I'm gonna you can run some plays for me, kind of like Dion was doing, which I think would be great. But I think the move there, honestly, stay with the vision with me, okay? If they can get him. I think the Patriots would be the best spot for him because you can have Gonzalez can just be the follow the dude around, man up dude, and you could let Travis be on the other side and just try to get interceptions because he's a good ball hawk. And I'm like, dude, that team would be really kind of not going to say they're going to win the division, but Buffalo still win it. But I'm saying they'll be on the come up because Drake May, he played pretty well last year. You get that offense rolling a little bit with Travis on defense and him. Oh man.
Well, think too, if you actually get a legit number one weapon, I feel like the Patriots haven't had a legit wide receiver since Edelman in 2017 before he just started getting old.
No,
maybe dude. Honestly even Gronk started
dude. Yeah, that would. I'm telling you, I was thinking about it. I was because also Travis, then you could use him more on offense because now he's not going up against the number one. You don't have him having to shut people down the whole time. You know what I mean? It's a good fit. You would have two really good corners.
That's a good call, man. I like that. I like it.
Yeah, because you could just zone them over there sometimes and be like, hey, try to go for picks.
I'll still be curious though of New England. I still think they need so much offensive line help.
They do.
Which I think you can package stuff and get more depth later.
I think
this draft is deep at D tackle and offensive line again.
We were going to go to our teams. The Ravens honestly had most of their people in house. The big move for them is the Ronnie Stanley thing because you kind of need them back, and if you don't, it's a mess. So we'll see if they get him back or not. That's going to be hard because people are going to try to get him. They really are. They're going to poach.
Yeah, I mean, what's kind of wild in this market, Josh, is there's not really any. The Ravens. Ronnie Stanley's probably a top 15 tackle in the NFL, and those just don't grow on trees. No. And it's and it's just tough.
Hey, I give him credit. the last 2 years before this year, he was very up and down, but he played really well this year. He's the one guy on the line. Like, I think that line is overrated, but I think he was the one that was really good this year. They're like the center. I like Linderbaum, but he snaps the ball bad sometimes, and his pass blocking is really not the best. I'm sorry, it's not. He's kind of mid up the middle.
Well, he works well with like what I was showing you with all the expected points, man. You know, the Ravens, their running game and, like, again, Lamar's ability to get out of stuff really helps that offensive line a ton.
No, 100%.
You know, I mean, even in the playoff game, the offensive line really wasn't the weak link. It was just 2 really bad turnovers.
Yeah. No,
you know, like, to be really honest.
No.
Like, you can't. You know, I think they came together and played pretty well. I think, you know, the Ravens got something with Rosengard. Like, they really do. I like that guy.
Oh, I like him a lot, too. I think we talked about that game. I think the 2 early turnovers hurt them, and then when they were, I think they would have won that game if if Mark Andrews doesn't fumble there. Maybe not won it, but they would have had the lead right there. I think they were about to score and then I think it would have been a different game. We would have seen what happened, but yeah, you can't do that. Yep. That fumble in the middle of the field was like all the momentum was yours, and it kind of flipped the game. Like, never mind. You know, like, we were close.
Ravens, I mean, the Ravens, they're going to probably have a quieter offseason. Like you said, a guy like a Lockett or something might be a cheap target.
I don't want them to do a lot because
the draft is going to be key for them. Which it always is. I mean, they're the same as Green Bay, dude. They get free agents, but a lot of the times it's about
they're drafting.
You got to build there. I'll be curious kicker. Yeah, you know, I think you can draft one. Ravens historically do well with kickers. Like, they do. They seem to be able. That's the one franchise. It makes sense. John Harbaugh is a
special teams
guru, but they seem to be able to pluck them off the tree. Because you know dang well Tucker's gone.
Oh yeah, everybody, like, they're not bringing him back. You can't. There's no way.
Number one, he's fallen off he's declined in skill, but number 2, the optics of this whole
terrible. Yeah.
The Sops thing are pretty bad.
We'll get further into the draft stuff as it gets closer. Like, we'll actually, like, do our little mocks or whatever, like we always do. You know what I'm talking about? It'd be kind of fun.
I hate mock season because it's all bullshit.
It is. Oh god, I hate the like. Okay, so we were talking about, we're getting into the draft a little bit here. It's like that safety for South Carolina. I love what he did, but I'm like, when I watched him play, was just pretty good. I mean, I didn't think, like, you know, oh my god, like, he might be all right. I don't know. I didn't see, like, the next great thing. Maybe he will be. I don't know. You never know sometimes. It's so hard because I really think
they
sometimes
try to like a body type and stuff, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, that's like, so the end from Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think he's a sneaky pick for, like, Green Bay because he played with Hafley, right?
Mm-hmm.
But did he lead the nation in sacks?
I thought he did. Yeah, pretty sure.
I mean, look, that's pretty hard to do. Like, he actually might be a really good, sneaky, like, end of the first round pick, and, like, Green Bay could be in on that guy, or early second. You know, like, sometimes in this draft, like, relationships with coordinators matter. Right? Like, Green Bay always picks a ton of Big Ten guys, Pac-12 players. You know,
it's on our screen.
It's always been our former Pac-12.
It's on our screen right now too. I'm glad the Buccaneers re-signed Lavonte David. He's a really good player. That guy's really good.
But yeah. Nah, you had to. That guy.
That's a Hall of Famer there.
Good.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, what's wild is the Bucs still have this, like, window.
Yeah.
They aren't any good. They're like 8 and 9, but, like,
I don't know.
Is, like, dude, they could go on a run.
Tom will understand this, and everybody will. They're the, like, most not mediocre. They're, like, the most, like, I would say they're okay every year, but they're the one team that's, like, has a record where you're like, they're not that good, you don't want to play, because if they have an A game against you, it's really hard to beat them because they got a lot of talent. They really do. They could have a game where they could beat you up, and you just be like, what the hell just happened?
Yes, sir.
We just played the Bucs, baby. We got beat by 20. They're weird. They're a weird team. They've been like that ever since Jameis was like their quarterback. It was the same. That team was really screwy because when he was throwing 30 touchdowns and 30 picks, it's like one game he would blow you out because he would be throwing touchdowns in the game, and then he'd throw like 4 picks at the end and bring them back.
Jameis and Marcus Mariota were two of the best. And then Blake Bortles, garbage time fantasy stats.
Oh yeah.
They were so good at it. They could never do anything when it mattered. But
that is the weirdest draft because it's like I don't think they were busts, but I don't think they were lived up to the hype. It's like they weren't busts. They weren't terrible. They're like solid quarterbacks, but they're not.
Well, Marcus Mariota can still play in this league.
Yeah.
Like, I think Atlanta was just a terrible situation, and they shouldn't have benched him. I actually don't blame him for being like, dude, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, man.
I mean, I wouldn't quit on a team like that. It seems like kind of shitty, but...
football's wild, man. Yeah, that thing, the thing the 49er guy did, I don't care what he says, Campbell.
Well, did you see this rumor?
What? What rumor?
The Tennessee Titans would trade for Brock Purdy and give the first pick to the 49ers.
Why? Oh, my God.
That's what I said. I saw it, and I was like...
Okay, I would take that trade probably because
he ain't worth it. I would still take Cam Ward any day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would take that.
No offense to Brock Purdy, like he's proven it, but dude, you think?
I think Cam Ward, talent-wise, that's my only issue with him. I love his leadership. I think he would be perfect for that team. If you can do that, I would do it because the team's good, right? Then you have a guy that I think is a really good leader, and I think that's what you need. I think that would be perfect. I would love it.
The 49ers?
Yeah, because he's not going to... He's a good leader.
Yeah, this is the wild season of lying, too, so just keep that in mind. I find a rumor, and I'm just like, that's a fun thought.
Yeah, no, 100%.
The answer is, hey, again, when you have the first pick, right, and you think of the Titans who basically just totally gutted their team last year, other than getting Pollard, dude... They want to take, honestly, you take the best player on the board. And personally, if I'm them and they say that pick, you take Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
And you just say, hey, we're building this thing back 100%. Up.
Oh, yeah, you have him and Snead. I think that's a pretty good
but I'm still not, I don't think Will Levis is a bust. I think
he's
that
got
team
skills.
Was trash. See, like, the thing is, like, if you look at, like, Ridley actually statistically played really well, which I was shocked. Pollard is a good running back. They just, like, dude, their offensive line's so bad. Like, remember that Packer game where they, like, sacked Levis, like, 8-9 times? Like, against a bad pass rush, they just destroyed. You know, like, Green Bay pass rush wasn't that spectacular. Anyways, the top of the draft's fascinating, and I think it's because this draft's, like, I feel like the needs are always at quarterback. Other than, like, New England. But the thing is, I don't know if any of... Like, to me, none of the quarterbacks are worth that high of a pick. I think you have to take these positional guys, in my opinion. But I don't know how you feel, but I would stay away from these quarterbacks till, like, mid-late.
No, I agree. No, I'm not the biggest... Yeah. Like, Shadur... Look, the thing with the... But I agree with people, like, the cocky thing's kind of crazy because you gotta know who his dad is. Like he's been kind of growing up like that. The dude's got some moxie to him. I get it. That's fine. Just purely, I think that's all dumb. There's been people like that have been great that played. People have different personalities. Fine. People don't like it sometimes. The brash ones. That's just you got to get over that. So can the guy play or not? And I'm just going by purely playing. Like Tom's saying, I see a lot of flaws in his game. Nothing against the kid. I just, like, when I watched him, he didn't improve as much as I thought he would. Because I was the one talking about, I really liked what I saw the first year in Colorado. But he didn't really improve that much. He didn't. He's kind of the same guy. And I'm like, I thought I would see a little more.
The concern to me is he turns into hero ball. And the question is you can't do that in the NFL.
That's what I was about to say. He holds the ball too long.
No quarterback is. If you go watch Lamar, he don't do that. Lamar plays within his game.
Well, then, and that's the thing. He does that, and he's not even close to athletic as Lamar. So I'm like, dude, you can't do that in the NFL. They're going to kill you. You're going to throw a lot more picks. And you did it.
And honestly, I don't think he instilled any confidence in his, like you think about his offensive line, like, he never uplifted them. He always was just commenting on, we have no time, everybody plays, he put a lot of blame on people. Yeah. And it's just like, I get it, like, we all see the offensive line's trash. Like, I'm not, I'm not saying you're not wrong. What I'm saying is this is what you have in front of you. How are you going to uplift them to perform at their highest level?
Yeah.
And
No.
I'm telling you right now, you ain't going to lead men in an NFL locker room that make more than you, that have families, and that would crush you. You just have the last name of Sanders. Most of these guys are like, yeah, you're Deion's kid. You're probably a spoiled brat, which he kind of acts like. I'll be honest with you.
No,
like,
no,
and
no,
that's like, and he's gotta prove, like, that's the thing where honestly you gotta prove you gotta get rid of that stigma. And I think he should have showed up at the combine and actually performed and said, hey, I'm gonna compete, man. You know what? I'm here to compete. And I just think he kind of took the bratty kid way out of it. To be honest with you.
Well, I'm just tired in the media. You have people that say crazy stuff, but then also the athletes too. They're so like they get so mad when you get criticized. Dude, it's part of the job. You get a lot of money to do this. Sometimes you're gonna get criticized. It's okay. You don't have to act like they're coming after. And everyone's coming after you. Okay, it's what I don't like, Tom, is when it's proven valid too. I'm not saying this will. Maybe he'll be great and it's not a problem, right?
I hope he's honestly. Just so everybody's clear who's watching, I hope he's great. I don't want to see him be bad.
Me too.
I never want to see these guys be bad. It's just like, you gotta prove it to me, and he hasn't done it yet. And it's sad because it's like,
well, I just don't like how it's always they're trying to defame me and all this, and then when it's true, no one ever says anything else. No one ever goes, see, we were right. It's hush hush, but they were right. But hush hush, I'm like, guys, what's that about?
Like Aaron Rodgers, man. He tried to go on this podcast, and I don't know, man. All these actions, the Jets and just the organization, actions seem louder than words to me. What's going on there?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, look, they literally sold their souls to sign this guy, get all his buddies. Who they now cut Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Who they now cut out. They're going to cut Allen Lazard.
Oh, yeah, that was too much money.
Oh, dude. It's just, to me, it's crazy. Like, I just go, you sold your soul to this guy for a bunch of bums. That didn't work in Green Bay. Why do you think it's going to work now? Devontae Adams, I kind of get, because he still has a lot of talent. But it's just like, you have a number one receiver in Garrett Wilson. You need to develop that kid. And Rodgers just was like, I'm good. I don't really, he doesn't do enough. And I'm just like, yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, like Aaron, I think is kind of the same thing. It's just, it's interesting how no one's really come to the table and really, really defended him. Some of his buddies do, and he's probably a good guy, Josh, Like, no one's not saying he's a bad human. He's just, I don't think... He thinks he can run everything, and he's very narcissistic. And unfortunately, what everybody found is, you can't run a team. Got it. That's what I think is fascinating. Everyone thinks he's going to play somewhere. I'm like, dude, he might be lucky if he's a backup.
Yeah, dude, he's not a GM, obviously. So, I mean.
Well, is he going to be okay with accepting, like, hey, you're a backup. No one needs to hear that loud.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that blew up in their face. That was bad. That was really bad.
I really hope he ends up with he's not going to, because it sounds like Sam Darnold's going to get a contract. That'd be so funny. Just live the prophecy of Brett Favre.
Really?
Go to the Jets, get cut, go to the Vikings.
Yeah, I doubt he's going to be as good as Brett was for them for 1 year, but, you never know.
Hey.
Yeah, dude, it's been wild. Free agency's going to be wild. I want to go back to it. Like, Shedeur, I think he has some talent, but I think he would be best to like sit a year or at least like get a little more seasoning. I mean, maybe he don't, but that's what I see. We'll see. Quarterback's hard too. The thing you can't quantify what quarterback is, and it's random. It really is. Some people look like they're going to work hard and then they don't, and some people don't look like they're going to work hard and then they do. It's really weird. So maybe he will. We'll see. That's the hard part about quarterback. The guys that put it, like, no one thought Lamar was good, or Josh Allen were going to be that good, but then they kind of showed you they work hard. Yeah. So then you see the improvement. If you put in the work at quarterback, you can improve.
That's what scares me about Shedeur. I just don't know if he has that, and he thinks, hey, I am a Sanders. Yeah. Sanders, right?
Uh-huh.
That's what terrifies me.
Yeah.
I think, and that's what, honestly, I think that's what you're assessing. Are you going to put in the work, and are you going to represent this franchise?
That's it.
That's what the NFL cares about. Like, you can put butts in seats all day long, but do you want to be dysfunctional like, the Browns?
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah, no.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm rooting for him, but I just don't see it. He reminds me of too much arrogance that I've seen a lot.
Now the one
just never really panned out.
Now the one that I think is ridiculous that he's going up draft boards, because I saw him play a lot last year and I don't see it at all, is Milroe. I think he's meh. I don't see it, bro. If he's good, I'd be surprised, because I don't see anything there.
He's not Jalen Hurts, that is for sure.
No, he's kind of...
Everyone needs to stop.
Dude, he laid an egg.
Like, that's the thing with Jalen Hurts. He literally went to another school and won a Heisman.
Yes.
Right? And he took them far. Like, the guy was a winner.
Oh, yeah.
He knew what... he's a good character guy. He's an unorthodox quarterback, but the guy knows what it takes.
Well, yeah, look, no one's going to say that he's, like, the greatest, like, player of all time or anything, but he really... He's a good leader, like you said. That's the thing. Like, I'm tired of, like, the quarterback's always got to be like the greatest player ever. No, you can have a good team and have a great leader, and that's the thing that you need your quarterback to be. Regardless, he never says anything stupid. He's always like helps his teammates. He never goes, "You didn't give me enough credit." He's like, "Whatever, we won, right? Who cares?"
Yeah. Super Bowl ring matters more, right?
Right. Not only that, he never is going to lose you the game. He's just going to coast and help you win, and then sometimes he's gonna make some huge plays for you because the guy just gets it to his playmakers.
Yep. You ain't.
Hey Tom, I'll be right back. Keep talking. I'm just gonna go help my wife out here. The baby needs a formula bottle. I'll go grab it for her real quick.
Do it.
Dad life.
I think one thing that's thinking through more free agency again. Like, I think the trading for potentially Myles Garrett is fascinating, and the Browns doubling down of like, no, we're not trading him. I feel like if someone's willing to give a couple first-round picks or give them what they want in draft capital, that's going to be big, and the Browns are probably going to do it because it's not necessarily always a cap thing. It's more, hey, you have to rebuild that team young with cheap. The only way to do it is get a ton of draft capital, draft as many players as you can, and hope you start hitting. I'll be fascinated. I still think that's more... I think that can happen more at draft day.
Okay, what happened?
I was just talking about Garrett now. I still think that's a real trade. I think the Browns are just bluffing when they say, hey, we don't want to move him.
Yeah, they're trying to put up the price.
To give you
they're trying to put up the price.
A couple first-rounders for him, or even just one and, like, hey, a future one, depending on how well he plays. Again, it's a contract thing. I don't think the Browns at this point, they're rebuilding. And the only way to do it is they need draft capital to draft as much as they can and get young.
It's their fault. They made that terrible signing, and it's kicking their butt now.
Did I see Deshaun Watson agreed to a restructure again?
He did, but it's still a lot. It's just not egregious.
Yeah. What a sad story, man. That guy, like, in Houston was, like, incredible. And you know how many times, too, like, remember how many times, like, they actually were the team, I swear, could have really dethroned Kansas City in those divisional
rounds. They were winning 24-0, which was crazy, and they lost that game. Still can't believe that.
Yeah, that was like 19 or something. I mean, they do it all the time. They play Kansas City all the time. They never beat them. It's wild. Even this year, it's like you kind of actually had a game. What was fascinating when I was looking at, speaking of, like, everybody, like, kind of eating on C.J. Stroud. But remember when I sent you that EPA thing? Yeah. Dude, C.J. Stroud's one of the best guys getting nailed. That kid's going to be fine.
Oh, dude, he's good. The middle of that line, the interior was just really bad this year. They kept letting pressure. So he couldn't step up. And like you said, that's what he likes to do, which is also a thing where you don't want his habits to, the fact that that line's bad, you don't want that to be affected by that, because that's a great habit to have as a quarterback. You should want to step up and make the throws. He just couldn't. He just step up and get freaking nailed. Like you said, I thought he played well all year. I just thought because what he would do is he keep trying to make a play, keep trying to, and then finally it will work. So and they were one. And look, they made the playoffs 2 years in a row. This stupid stuff about what's his name, their coach, D'Amico Ryans. I'm like, guys, come on, that guy's really good. Do not get rid of him.
I think it's interesting they got Christian Kirk because I actually think he's not terrible.
No, like that too.
I think it's a solid addition. It helps with depth. They clearly have wide receiver injury problems.
Yeah. I love him. He actually, that contract everyone made fun of it. He was actually really good in Jacksonville. He's a really good player. Now, what are they?
Jacksonville's a terrible franchise.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing either because they paid all that money to a quarterback that I'm not quite sure is that good. So I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot of money.
I understand, like, even in their first round pick when they took Tavion Walker, I think he was okay in college, and it's like, why did you take him one? I never understood it.
Yeah.
And then,
very weird.
I don't know, like, they have Allen and him, and it's just like, how are you not, like, a better pass rush? I don't understand it.
I agree.
I, like, really don't. It goes to show you, man, like, nobody really knows.
Yeah. It is hard. The draft's hard because it's work. Like we just said, who's going to put in the work?
You got to have the right coordinator, too, man. I'm sorry. Maybe they just didn't have the dude that could motivate people.
Or put them in the best spots, too. Yeah. Sometimes they'll get a guy and they just don't know what to do with him. And it's like, dude, then why'd you draft him? You know?
I thought it was interesting, though, that EPA analysis I did. So Jordan Love, when under pressure or getting hit, was like one of the worst in the league. And what I didn't look at is how quickly sometimes that would happen. Because he was, like, I think a lot of the times there's just a lot of incompletions. Like, he would, you know, I'm sure there's a couple, I think there's a couple of the picks. Like, he had that pick six. Like, he actually played at moments bad. Last year, you know, and not to make excuses for him, I do think when he got hurt week one, I, like, at the end of that game, I, like, sat there. I was like, oh, no, this is the season. Like, I seriously thought he was done. I was like, this sucks. Like, you literally played one game and you got hurt.
You got to give credit to Green Bay for getting a solid backup, though. That's my issue with the Ravens. If anything happens to Lamar, you got nobody. Like, you don't have a guy who can get you through 2 games.
That's everybody, man. Like, Mike Willis ain't going to take you to the promised land.
I know, but he can win you. He can win you a couple of games.
I'll tell you, like,
he can win you some games.
That's one thing I want to give Jordan Love a lot of credit for, and people should. Like, dude, that man fought through a lot of injuries.
He did.
The thing is, he kept playing. He battled the whole year. He got him in a position in the playoffs. And honestly, in that playoff game, those 3 picks were on bad routes. Like, when the guys actually, like, there's a bunch of people that analyze them. They're like the one where Bond picked it off. Dude, Tucker Kraft ran the wrong fucking, you know, he ran the wrong, you know, distance.
And my problem was the one with Slay. I don't know what the receiver was doing. He's the reason he got. He's the reason.
That it's mind-boggling.
Dobbs is the reason the second one got picked off. He didn't look for the. He looked at the ball and let Slay know where it was. It was
no, Wicks, yeah.
Yeah, Wicks. I'm sorry, Wicks.
Wicks is actually, like, I still believe in him.
Sorry.
I really do. Like, he could take off, but, dude, the guy's got to get. He's got to. This is why I think having, like, Devontae Adams around would be awesome.
I think he would come back. I think he would.
I think what he could do is not necessarily, like, I don't see him as, like, this is our new number 1 threat. I see him as, like, dude, talk about your journey in, like, year 2 and how bad you were. Because, like, dude, Wicks had the most targets on the Packers this year. They clearly like it. And he's, like, one of the best receivers at getting open in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's such a good route runner. It's just like he plays with paddle for hands.
You're funny.
And, you know, you just got to put it all together. I don't know if it's just the game's so fast and he's trying to do too much instead of just, dude, catch the ball and play because you're that good. I don't know. I just also don't think he's a deep threat. I think he's like, you know, Devontae Adams is never that either. No. But if you really think about it, Devontae Adams is these quick 10 yards and then he turns out into explosive things.
No, he is. He is. He's
just. That's what I always remember Devontae on. Like, he runs a quick slant and just burns everybody because his route running is so ridiculous.
I was gonna say his route running is good. He just makes catches and makes plays. He's really good.
And I think that's like the role they got to get Wicks into. Is like, dude, you don't touch the ball. And it'll change everything.
Yeah,
But
Reed's
also
Reed's your
stop making him go deep all the time. That's not who he
Reed's
is.
the yak guy. That's the guy you get the yak from. That's your yak player. Supposed to be anyway.
Even him, like I think they should done like what was when they started. They did it actually, and they were successful a couple times in that Philly game. They had Reed running those deep crossers, and then everybody got hurt. But he caught two of them. Like that's what. That's when they were really successful with him all year. It was like those 15-yard crossing routes where they would open up the field. They run one guy deep. They run across from the other side. They run like a deep end. Yeah. And he's just so good, and they'll pull a guy down because they'll leak the tight end out or something.
Yeah, I think the Eagles
I
think the Eagles are really good, but they're also. I wouldn't be interesting. They're
weird.
No,
I was just saying that. It was finally you saw like a lot of people keep getting on Reed. I said I think Reed is just. He's a slot receiver that you need to get him like 5-6 targets in the game. And he does need the ball, but like that's about what he is, right?
Yeah.
Green Bay just needs to put volume at one position instead of this, hey, we're gonna see what the matchup is for this week and we're just gonna spread the ball around and nobody knows. I don't think it works with this receiving core. Clearly it doesn't. There's too much inconsistency at this point, so.
No, I agree. So what I'm thinking is what we'll do is we'll do a little bit closer to draft some stuff, and then maybe we'll review Andor too because I didn't even know it was coming out. So that's pretty cool.
Heck yeah, dude! Looks good.
Because it's the off-season, guys. We gotta do some crazy. Maybe a little baseball content. We haven't done that.
God, the Braves, man! I can't believe the Braves picked up the Marlins' best player.
Yes.
and then they got Profar from San Diego because, for dirt cheap, and you're just like, okay, maybe, and Matt Olson does good in years, so I'm just like, hey, maybe they'll actually not be the worst hitting team ever. So I don't know.
It does look like this football season is going to be a little crazy with the trades, which would be kind of wild. With the better players getting traded, it's pretty cool. I'm looking.
I think you're going to see, I think you will see a lot more of, and you did see it this year. Guys are keeping their guys, right?
Yeah.
And they're cutting guys that are like, see ya.
Yep.
So the question is, with a Bosa and all these guys, right?
Well, I think what's
bigger contracts they're gonna give.
I think what's interesting is me and you, our teams are historically just the boring ones in free agency and trades. So it's this is our time where we talk about other teams because they don't really do it very much. But should also point out too. If you look at it consistently, the really good teams don't make a lot of trades and stuff because they don't need to. I just pointing that out.
No, I think what I look at is Brian Gutekunst says we need to start competing for championships in Green Bay. And I think that means also at the GM level. It doesn't always mean, like you said, I don't need you to make crazy-ass trades. I do need you to upgrade the roster, though, and put pressure on people. It wasn't good enough, and this is the consequence of hey. And I'm pointing fingers at that wide receiver room. I mean, they already did. They fired their wide receiver coach.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't fire the wide receiver coach. They fired the D-line coach, right? Because of the lack of pressure. There's guys that regressed. They said no, we're going to be better than this. So I think. They went and got the guy from New England.
Yeah,
he's really good.
That was my top.
Those are. That to me is saying, hey, we are taking it seriously. If we're not gonna, I think the wide receiver room's tough. I just think a lot of it went to their heads, and I think guys got arrogant.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you.
No.
I think honestly the guy that played the best, and I'm saying he got hurt, was Christian Watson. That's the guy who's just like, dang, dude. Non-contact just falls to the ground.
He is a heck of an athlete too, man. He can really run for how big he is. It's crazy. It's just his, like you said, his hamstrings, man. Not the.
Dude, his lower body, dude. He's like a Ferrari that's so precision. He can. All it takes is one little thing, and he's back in the shop.
Yeah, it's sad. I think though 1 year maybe even this year, I think he's going to put it together and play the whole season. I just think some guys, it happens sometimes. Beginning of their career, kind of up and down, and they finally get a little.
He's going to probably. I think they're saying mid-season he might be back. I have a feeling. have a feeling he's done in Green Bay just because, like, dude, do you think by the time you get to actually come back,
Yeah.
like, that's tough, man.
Well, we had it this year.
I hope they can bring him back, but also I'm worried, like, dude, he just ain't going to be the same.
The Ravens had it this year with Keaton Mitchell, man. It's like this whole year, you knew it, though. You knew he wasn't going to be back this year because it's never the first year when you come back from something like that. It always takes like 2 years, you know what I mean? So, see what happens this year with him. But even like Tom's saying, will he ever be the same? Because everyone forgets about him already, but he was one of the biggest reasons. Like, that Kansas City game would have been a lot different if he was healthy. I'm just saying. Because then you got a home run right there. And he was, I don't think people remember, Tom, he was like a home run. Like, he hit that hole and it was gone. Just, the guy was breaking off 70-yard runs like every week.
He reminds me of, I remember Alex Collins. He could make one cut and he'd just be gone.
Yeah, that dude was great. Oh, my God.
And, no, it's the same thing with him. Yeah, and like that, like I'd say that's kind of something too in Green Bay's back pocket too. They drafted Marshawn Boyd last year that just couldn't get on the field with injuries.
Well, that's my thing.
Green Bay's offense, like I think part of what they're doing, they've got to have that go-getter home run threat in the backfield too.
I mean,
this ain't Josh Jacobs ground and pound, man.
Me and you, Tom.
That's what you need.
Me and you were talking about our teams last year. Like, you were like the Packers you thought were a year away, and remember I said the Ravens are just got a lot going on. I don't know. This is the year with the Ravens. I'm very confident in them. I think they're going to be deep run, maybe Super Bowl right now, unless it can't, because it is football. Lamar blows his knee out, then we got a hello first pick.
Honestly, I want to see Jordan Love become a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I want to see this defense become elite. And like this pass rush take the next step.
Yeah.
I think if those two things happen, I don't want to say. I hate when we're, the goal in Green Bay is always a Super Bowl.
Oh no, I agree with you.
I want to see.
I agree with you.
I want Jordan. I know Jordan Love can do it. That's the thing. And I just like.
Oh, I think me and you talked about. I
want him. He's got to go out there and do it though, because he is part of the problem. Last year. Of just like, dude, there's things you regressed in. Progress isn't linear. I think he learned a lot too. Don't get me wrong. Like, I actually think that was a humble pie last year. It was a good thing.
Dude, I think the best thing that happened is the Eagles won the Super Bowl. From this perspective, the NFL was getting on my nerves because the discourse was all about, the quarterbacks are the reason. Like, it's not a team sport anymore. So you need the quarterback. Yes, the quarterback is the most important, but you also need a good team. Teams win championships. Jalen Hurts is a really good player, but you have to have a good team to win. You can't just have one quarterback and my quarterback's going to make up for all the holes on my team. It's still a team sport, and they keep trying to change the narrative. It's not the NBA. It doesn't work the same structurally. It's not. They don't play both sides of the ball. It's not the same. You got to stop trying to do that. The NFL is the NFL. It is what it is. It's really.
Yep.
That's why that championship, winning that one, to me is the most it's the most rewarding because it is so hard because you get 1 week in the playoffs. You can't be off. You can't throw picks. You just gotta win, and then when you win, that's one they can't take away from you, man. Hell, they still talk about teams from the '80s. The freaking '85 Bears are like mythical. It's
that
'60s Packers.
And they're like, and honestly, that offense other than Walter Payton was hot garbage.
Oh my God, dude! In '86, they were better on defense. They just McMahon got hurt. Think about what I'm saying. Jim McMahon got hurt, and that's the reason they lost. That's how good that defense was.
Yep.
Like they were. I mean, the football 2000 Ravens. You always hear about them. The '90s Cowboys, '60s Packers, Brett Favre's Packers in the '90s. They were crazy. Sterling. You hear about like teams.
Dude, the Packers in the '60s, man. What was crazy about them was, you do have the one thing I gotta say is, Bart Starr is the greatest postseason besides Tom Brady. Is the greatest postseason performer of all time.
Freaking winner, man.
And no one can ever tell me no.
And then I would be remiss if I didn't.
That man, I'm sorry. The drive of the one thing Tom Brady's never done is, hey, it's
12
sub-zero
negative 12 degrees, yeah.
With a sheet of ice. He did it in the snow, but
ice is different.
I don't know, man.
Ice is different, yeah.
Dude, the Ice Bowl is one of those just iconic, all right.
Bro, even in
So,
that grainy television back then, the cameras, it looked cold. Like, that's how you know it was cold. So cold out in black and white, you knew it was cold. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't in black and white. I'm just saying, dude,
all right,
dude.
man. But next week.
Okay, let me first.
We doing it? Or 2 weeks from now? What are we doing?
Hold up. Let me first. I gotta give a shout out to the. Come on, I can't forget the '70s Steelers. Come on, Rocky Blyer, my boy Rocky Blyer, Franco. Come on, man. They had the team, and then we all loved the blonde bomber, Terry Bradshaw. Let's go. Great defense too. Me and Joe Green, legend. Mel Blunt. If your receiver tried to leave the line, he wasn't going too far because he's getting flipped on his head. That dude was fucking crazy. A real life cowboy. Anyway, what do you think? When's the draft?
I don't know. Free agency starts, I think, on Tuesday.
All right, we'll do next week. You want to
So,
do next week? Yeah, I feel like we should.
yeah, we'll figure
We'll
it
talk
out.
more about free agency, and
All
I
right,
think look forward to some Star Wars content. You know, we always do that. But yeah, I mean, it was great talk, everybody. We're gonna come back next week. Likes are always appreciated. Subscribe for more content, and as always, Tom,
Roll Tide.
roll tide,
Anchor down.
anchor down.